Should an executor, personal representative, sell all of the estate assets? It's a great question. It really depends on the circumstances. So remember this, the executor, the personal representative, that's the person in the probate who's in charge of finding all of the assets, real estate, property, home, or cash, life insurance policies, or jewelry, gold, things like that, finding everything, and then ultimately distributing everything to all of the heirs and to the beneficiaries. So should the executor sell everything? It kind of depends. If there's a will, right, or if there's a trust, the will or the trust might actually say, hey, I want my executor to just sell everything and split everything equally, or in set amounts or percentages or something like that. And sometimes that's a great idea for someone to set it up, because a lot of times you'll have a situation where maybe a parent just says, hey, I want my 3 kids to get the house equally. Okay, that's fair, but then when they actually get the house and now you have 3 owners on title, a lot of times the 3 of them can't agree on what they want to do with the house. One of them wants to sell it, the other 2 want to keep it, and now you've got a fight and possibly more litigation or lawsuits to try to figure out what to do with the house. So it depends. If there's a will or a trust, those documents might say, we want them to sell or how they want to be transferred. But if there's nothing like that, and you're having to go through probate, now you got to figure out what to do with the assets. So the first thing that we'll figure out is, are there creditors that need to get paid? Are there legitimate creditors, bills, hospital bills, credit card bills, unpaid debts, loans, anything like that we know for sure have to get paid. We can't get them removed. They're going to have to get paid. Well, we might have to sell some of the assets in order to pay some of those creditors. So that's a decision we might make. Then depending on the asset, maybe it doesn't make sense for if there's, let's say a gold block or something, which happens. And it doesn't make sense. You've got 1 piece of gold. How are you going to split that 3 ways? Well, you're probably going to have to get an appraisal done on it to sell it, to be able to liquidate and distribute the money equally between the 3 people. So that might be an instance. If there's real estate, and again, depending on what the law allows and depending on the relationship between the people who are inheriting it, if you can, maybe it makes sense to sell the piece of real estate within the probate. But ultimately, whether you're deciding, you as the executor are deciding to sell or not to sell, there is going to be some oversight. So just because you are the executor, chances are you are not going to be able to make all of those decisions by yourself and do whatever you want. You're going to probably need court approval. And if there's other beneficiaries, if there's other heirs, again, depending on the circumstances, they're going to have to be involved, and they might have the opportunity to object to you wanting to sell or not sell those things, and you'll have to present that to the judge. So sometimes it works out great. Sometimes it makes the most sense just to sell, because again, especially with real estate, if you can, it's really difficult to have multiple people on title, so you might want to consider selling it. If there's other assets that maybe people don't want, but maybe expensive things like artwork or jewelry, we might want to do an appraisal and then split those things. So it really depends on the circumstances, and that's something you'll discuss with your attorney when you're determining whether or not should we sell these things or should we not sell these things.